Are you sitting around right now wondering if your ex is already out with someone new? And if you'll ever meet someone who gets you the way he or she did? Are you dreading the thought of meeting someone else and having to go through the whole getting to know you phase again? I know the feeling. Breaking up with someone you still love can be one of the most emotionally devastating events most of us will ever face. Because you've got all these emotions going at once. You know, the guilt of what I did, regret over what I should have done, and then all of the confusion. How do I fix it? It can make you feel like you're going crazy. And when you go through it, you really have no idea how to fix the relationship. But here's the surprising truth about a breakup. And you don't know this when you're going through it because you're so emotional. If you know what to do to handle it, this is the event that can bring you closer than you've ever been. And in this video, I'm going to show you how to do it. My name is Michael Griswold, and if you pay attention to this video, you're going to discover the 3 simple steps you have to take so that you can first get your ex to stop with the game of ignoring your calls and texts. Next, get some straight answers on what really happened in your relationship so that you can know how to fix it. And then finally, know what you can do to transform your ex's anger, resentment, and bitterness, all of those negative emotions, into excitement, fun, and passion again, just like you were at first. Basically, I'm going to show you how to make yourself irresistible again. But first, we have to clear up a common mistake. You see, you don't just want to get your ex back, and here's why. Usually getting him or her back means chasing after them, changing for them, begging them, doing anything you can to make it work. But this always makes you look needy, and it never works. Because when you act like this, you always feel like you're walking on eggshells. You're like one argument away from breaking up again, and it makes you nervous, and it's not a great relationship. Instead, you want your ex to want you again. To feel like you are as important to him as he is to you. To feel like she wants you as much as you want her. To do that, you've got to know how to do more than just get your ex back. You've got to know how to turn the tables. And by using a couple psychological tricks that hack into your ex's emotions and fill them with the same feelings of love and desire that you feel right now. And by the way, I don't mean anything sketchy by psychological tricks. I just mean that I'm going to reveal to you the 3 steps to recreating a great relationship. And that way, instead of having to wait, you can know how to use them as a shortcut so that you can be back with the person that you love sooner rather than later. I'm going to show you how to be the one in control so that your ex is willing to do whatever it takes to work things out with you. And this all has to do with the way that you position yourself. I'll even show you how to make your ex feel the same surge of emotion that you feel right now. That stab, you know, when you see a car that's the same color as theirs, or you hear the song that reminds you of them, or you see someone who might look like them. You know that stab of desire? I'm going to show you how to make them feel that same way. So by using these 3 simple steps I'm going to share with you, you'll discover how to first give your ex a case of argument amnesia, to make him or her forget all the mistakes that you made, especially the ones that are keeping you up at night. How to instead fill him or her with excitement and anticipation about seeing you again, and make yourself so irresistible that you don't ever have to worry about getting hurt like this again. You see, I made this video to help you because not so long ago, I was in your shoes. My girlfriend told me she just couldn't do this anymore. And as her words sank into my head, I felt this stab in my gut. The regret we talked about, the sadness, and then something else. Tell me if you can relate to this. I felt fear. I was afraid that I had blown it, that I wouldn't get another chance to have a relationship like this. I was afraid that she would find someone that she loved more, and that would make me feel bad about myself. I was afraid that all the time we spent together making memories and the plans for the future went up in smoke. It was all for nothing. And then the biggest fear I had was that I wasn't good enough, that there was something wrong with me that kept me from being able to have great relationships. The toughest part was that I couldn't get myself under control. I wasn't acting like myself. Instead, I was calling all the time, texting, and freaking out when I didn't hear back right away or exactly the way that I wanted to. And then I tried all the same stuff you've probably tried, basically in a panic to get her back. And looking back, it was embarrassing, to be honest with you. But then, after using a couple of the same techniques I'm going to share with you, a curious thing happened. One Saturday afternoon, my ex sent me a very flirty text inviting me to come over. Now, I had done a couple of things that I'm going to share with you, but then this kind of took me by surprise. So imagine this. You and your ex have made up. He or she is super stoked to see you again, and you're hanging out again for the first time. How would you describe that feeling? What would it be like for you to have your ex call you up now and invite you to come over? Well, for me, it just felt right. And after we made up, the passion we felt for each other was off the charts. It was like we had a fresh start because we finally got all of the stuff that was in the background out of the way. And I can still remember that feeling of having her in my arms for the first time again. And I want you to have that same feeling too. Here's how you do it. And as you'll see, this is the same as whether you're a guy or a girl, a man or a woman. So first, your ex has to feel comfortable around you again. You know that nervous tension you feel when you call or when you text or when you're having a conversation, the way that you're doubting yourself and trying to do everything right? Well, your ex can feel that too, and it's a real attraction killer. It makes them feel like you don't really have any confidence in yourself and you're looking for it from them. You probably notice how they act standoffish or defensive, right? Well, to fix this, you've got to make them feel no pressure. You've got to let him or her relax so that they don't feel like every conversation is about us. That puts a lot of pressure on them and makes them want to push you away. When you do that, when you relax the pressure, you make them feel like it's safe to open up to you again. The same way that you feel nervous to say anything wrong, that kind of nervousness is contagious, and they feel the same way. So once you stop doing that and make them feel comfortable, they'll want to talk to you again. He or she can look forward to spending time with you because they remember how much fun they used to have, and it's not awkward anymore. Because after a breakup, feelings don't disappear. It's not like your ex just all of a sudden doesn't have any feelings for you anymore. They still do. They still have feelings for you. And the more they feel comfortable around you, instead of fighting about your relationship, the more those feelings of love start to come back in surges. So next, after you get your ex to feel comfortable around you, and you can do this through using a couple techniques, next, your ex has to believe you. And here's what I mean. Right now, the guy you're in love with knows you'd say anything to get him back. And the girl you love knows you'd say anything for her to give you another shot. That's why you feel like nothing you say is connecting. The words are just kind of falling out of your mouth. They're not having the impact that you want. Matter of fact, you could pour your heart out to your ex right now, but it wouldn't make any difference. The words that you're saying lack power or conviction. Maybe you can even tell from your ex's body language that they don't believe you. And look, I know that you're being sincere. I've been where you are. I know that you're saying anything that you can to get them to see how you feel. To understand why it's not working, you've got to see it from your ex's position. You see, most people say the same boring stuff after a breakup. Stuff like, I'll change, or can't we just try again, or but I love you so much. And to your ex, that all sounds manipulative. Basically, you're saying, I'll say or do anything to get you to come back. When you stop saying those things, you open up room for your ex to really believe what you say. And once you do that, then you give them the opportunity to feel for you again. See, all of their defenses are up right now because they just think that you're trying to do anything you can to get back to them. But once you stop doing that and begin saying the things that they really want to hear, then they begin to feel close to you again. And then finally, you have to reignite the attraction. And look, I'm doing these in this order because it's important. It's important that you do these things in this order. If you first focus on attraction, then yeah, you might get back together for a night or maybe for a weekend and maybe hook up, but you won't have any real relationship because the things that are standing in the way haven't been addressed. So first, you've got to make them feel comfortable. Second, you've got to get them to believe you, and then you focus on the attraction. And here's why. The attraction is the easiest part. Obviously, without feeling attraction for you anymore, your relationship has no chance. But when you can make the sparks fly again, you remind your ex of all the good times together. So here's what happens. You're hanging out, you're spending time together, you're laughing, you're holding hands, and that feeling of this just felt right, that's how they feel and begins to grow, and they begin to think of how much they enjoyed being with you. This is, as I said, the easiest part. Because you were once intimate, we know that your ex has attraction for you. It's just that it's buried underneath all the negative stuff. That's why we're getting them to feel comfortable and to believe you first. Once you get that stuff out of the way, the floodgates of passion open, and your time together will be unlike any you've ever had. Because instead of having all of that stuff that you don't talk about standing in the way, finally it's taken care of, and you can be able to love each other with reckless abandon. I get emails all the time from people telling me how emotional and passionate it feels when they get back together, how they feel closer than ever before. So, as simple as those three steps are, making them feel comfortable, making them believe you, and reigniting the attraction, sometimes you need help to know how to get it right, especially because this is such an emotional time. Because you're so apt, you're so likely to do things just as a reaction. And that's why I put together the 3 simple steps into an easy-to-follow course that I've called the M3 system. The M3 system is the most powerful course available today on how to sneak inside your ex's head and to fill them with overwhelming desire for you. After going through it, not only will you understand your relationship better, but you'll be given real power to be in control of your love life for good. So imagine that. Instead of always feeling like you're waiting for the next shoe to drop, what would it be like to have your ex wanting you, to have them want to be with you? And so that you'll know that the M3 system will work for you, I want you to listen to what other people have to say about the benefits they received. People who were in your same position watching this same video, they chose to get the M3 system, and this is what happened. Carlos says, "Your stuff works so well. Oh my God, your stuff works so well. I haven't had any kind of contact with my ex, and she's already leaving emails, text messages, calls, and all that. She's saying it was a mistake and that we should get back together and telling me how much she misses me." Now, Carlos here is talking about one strategy, which is the no contact strategy, and maybe you've heard about that. But the real power comes in knowing why you do it, and that gives you the reason to be able to do it and allows your ex to begin to feel attraction for you again. Steve says that your program works. "I wanted to let you know that last weekend my fiance who dumped me was back in my arms telling me how much she loved me and missed me and making plans for the future." Now listen, here's a guy who had his life planned out, and because the relationship went south, his whole life was about to change. But because he used the M3 system, because he had the courage to try, he's now able to marry the girl that he fell in love with. And here's the other thing. When you get the M3 system, you do your ex a favor too, because they don't know how to make the relationship work. That's why they broke up with you. But when you do, then you give them the confidence to know that they can make it work with you. And so that you'll know that the M3 system works for women as well, listen to what Nikki says. Nikki says, "Hey Michael, it's me, Nikki, and I just wanted to let you know that I think you're awesome, you're phenomenal, and so much of what you said was so insightful. You know, it really seems I needed someone that knows what they're talking about, and I think you've honestly changed my love life forever." Look, your relationship can turn around too by using the M3 system to make it turn around and give your ex the confidence to feel like this relationship can work. So here's everything that I'm going to give you with the M3 system, because there's a lot that goes into recreating a relationship. First of all, you're going to get the full-blown M3 video system. In these 3 video modules, you'll discover everything you need to make your ex crave your attention, approval, and company again. You'll discover how to get him or her to forget all the mistakes you made and fall for you again with reckless abandon. I'm going to show you in this module how to use the argument amnesia technique that I developed so that your ex doesn't remember or hold those against you anymore. In part 1, you'll see how to make your ex feel comfortable around you again so they stop ignoring you and can finally hear what you've been trying to tell them. After going through this part, your ex will begin to open up to you again. They'll begin to feel comfortable with you so that they won't feel defensive. And in part 2, you'll hear how to re-attract your ex so he or she feels excitement and yearning at the thought of seeing you again. You'll feel so confident when your ex is the one calling you, the one sending you text messages about how much they can't wait to see you and kissing you the way they used to. Do you remember how they used to kiss you? How it was so passionate? And how just before you break up, it started to be more like, just like a peck? You're going to feel those kisses of passion again. And in part 3, I'll show you how to position yourself so that your ex feels lucky to have you, so that you can hear them tell you how much they love you, and you can be the one in control again. Now look, being in control is all about having control of how you feel. This isn't like you controlling them. This is you being in control so that they want to be with you. So look, that's the M3 system, right? That's the 3 modules, and there's over 20 videos in that. And it's going to help you, just that alone is going to revolutionize the way that you deal with relationships. Not only for this relationship, but for every relationship you have. Even if you don't decide to get back with your ex after going through the M3 system, you'll have that choice. You can choose whether to get back with them or not. Even if you don't, you will have such power and such satisfaction in your relationships going